We're all competitive by nature to some degree, and I am guilty of it as well. I used to be someone who was a bit more competitive as well as jealous. I think that is the main thing. I was jealous. Jealous of various things going on within my life. So I would like to share a little bit about that, talk a little bit about that, reflect on it because I am far past that point now. Because I've realized I am older now than I was like a decade ago. I have learned a lot of lessons and I have accepted various things about myself and what's going on in my life. So I wanted to share a little bit about my competitiveness, or rather my jealousy. So a decade ago, I was a very different person. Naturally for me, I am someone who does like to be a leader. I like to be the number one person. So I didn't like being number two, number three. I wanted to be the very first person. I would look at other people and I would compare myself to them. Not necessarily like how they look or anything, not like that. More so what their status is. Where is there a status and how can I be better than them? How can I do things better than them? I would critique them on perhaps the way that they do their job, the way that they go about life, the way that they think. It's like you're not really thinking the way that I think, which means my way of thinking is better. I can talk about this subject much more better than a you can. I can talk about these things so much better than you can. There you go. said it correctly that time. And I would look at them and I would realize, they have more than me. How can I be better than them so I have more than them? But the thing is, I never could have more than them. For some reason, it would always be, no matter how bad someone else did their activities, did their work, did whatever else, even though I have shown that I could do it better, I could talk about things better, I could do things in a very much more, not necessarily productive manner, but in a manner that is just superior, like better quality, shall we say? It's like I was never ahead of them, but it was just that idea that I wanted to be ahead. Just realizing I can do this better than you. It doesn't really matter if I do it better than them because it's never going to elevate me to their status. So that is really where a lot of my jealousy started to come into play, because I tried to be better than them and felt a bit smug, like, I'm better in this regard. But nothing was really showing that I was better in any way, if that makes sense. So it's like, sure, I can do all these things and I feel superior and I feel better than these other people. But the actual result that I'm getting out of it is nothing like them. If they're at the top here and I'm like, okay, I rate their work 3 out of 10. And it's like, well, I rate mine 15 out of 10, which means I'm much better. I was still down here, wondering, why am I not way past them? It made me wonder about that. And so that is why I started to feel a bit bad. It's like, that's why I started to feel a bit jealous. Because I couldn't be like them despite the fact that I was doing things better than they would. And I would start to say some things. I just think about some videos that I made like a decade ago or so. It's like I would talk about certain people within my life, or talk about certain circumstances, talk about certain things. Not even a decade ago, like even just earlier in, just like last year, 2025. I would make some videos about certain people. But the thing is, I would never call out the person specifically. Never would. But it was almost like I was not respectful of their feelings or their emotions. I just put it out there. It was just like, hey, here's like this problem here. I am better than you, okay? I'm better than you are. And what are you going to do about it, huh? You're going to watch this video and you know exactly I'm going to be talking about you, and you can't do anything about it because I didn't call you out by a name. That was not wrong for me to, that was wrong for me to do. That really was. I should not have done those things. So even just in 2025, I was still a bit like that. You know, actually quite a bit like that, depending on the circumstances. It was really, I had toned down a lot of this. It wasn't even jealousy at that point. It was more just like me belittling other people, me putting other people down in a public space, which is something that I should not do, because in our mind, we can think that we are better than other people. But when you actually start to express that publicly, then that is a problem. That's not something you should be doing. So I have learned from that, and I don't do those sort of things anymore. I don't talk about other people. I don't express these extreme viewpoints anymore that are going to hurt other people, because I don't want to do that anymore. I really don't. That I am so far past that at this point in my life. Now I've just learned to accept that I am not perfect or the best in something. Okay, I have realized over the years that there are people who do things way better than me, and I kind of wonder, it's like, how do you do that? How do you have the time, the energy, the means to do these things? And who knows, maybe they're using some sort of stupid AI thing now. I don't even know. I don't even touch that, and I stay very far away from that. But the thing is, well, I mean, some of this stuff I was noticing before all that, so it just made me wonder. It's like, wow. It's like, I kind of wish that I had those things that this person had. But instead of me feeling bad about myself and my position, I'm just going to strive to be the best that I can be, and hopefully be like that one day, or rather be in my own unique way, similar to that, but also different from that. Because I can't be them, I can't be like them, but I can use the way that they handle situations, how they are productive with certain tasks and abilities that they may have. And I can look at that and go, I can be similar to that, but I can also be very, very different from that in my own unique way. I can be very, very similar. So those are just some thoughts that have been going through my mind, which is, it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, but that is basically how I am now. I really don't consider myself competitive. I look at other people more so as a source of inspiration, especially when they're much further ahead than me. And some people, I realize, I can never be that far ahead. I really can't. I really can't be to where you are, because there's been so many things that have changed within my own life that I can't be like that. But also, I realize, I don't need to prove anything to other people. I really don't. I don't need to go on here and make a video proving to other people that I have all these things. Because that was kind of my mindset also, that I needed to prove to all of the haters out there that I have these things. And it's like, you know what? No, I don't need to do that at all. Because I can be here in my own privacy of how I live my life and the people who are in my life, and, the wonderful circumstances that I am in. And I don't have to share that information to prove other people wrong, saying, hey, look, I have these things, which makes me better than you. Are you jealous now? It's like, I don't need to do that anymore. I really don't. I don't need to prove anything to anyone whatsoever. That's why I have more privacy now and a bit more mystery, I guess, to me, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with me. And it's something that I really don't need to actually share too much about, because, it's just, don't need to share that anymore, because I feel as though some of the things that were shared before were to be like, oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm better than you. So that's just my thoughts now. Let me know what you think, or maybe have you noticed any sort of competitiveness with me, and maybe how I've changed. I don't know, but yeah, Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Y'all take care, have a great one, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.